practice session. We're going to run through some of the practices we've learned in the second segment of rapid recalibration and do some practice together to make sure you're clear and there's no questions about our material as we move forward. So let's go ahead and drop into our sacred space, your own inner ocean, your bubble, your circle, your toroidal field, and drop into that still, calm, sovereign place of well-being that you hopefully are feeling very comfortable in finding quickly as we continue to do these practices. And we're going to go ahead and run through the 3 platonic solid visualizations just to make sure that you have them solidly in your architecture, your rainbow bridge. And once you have done each of these and feel comfortable with them a few times, there's no need to continue these particular platonic solid practices. These are kind of set it and forget it. Just assume that once you have set the intention to reactivate these architectures within your own light body, your own inner intelligence of the divine architecture will continue to maintain them. Although if you feel you ever want to reinforce their presence, of course, that's not a problem. So let's begin with the cube, which is what links us to the 3rd dimension, but we need the bridge to have all of them stacked up. So we're going to imagine the cube again. Remember, it's standing on a corner. So it looks like a diamond. And the bottom corner of the tilted cube is going to touch the very bottom of your sphere. Below your feet, go ahead and visualize this as open architecture. That means it doesn't have solid sides. You can just see the lines of the shape. And the top corner of the cube as it's sitting on its side is touching the top of the bubble. And just adjust any shape or the size of your own bubble to accommodate, making sure that the cube is surrounding your entire body. You can push out your bubble or bring it in as needed in any of these exercises. And just feel the sense of floating within the watery ocean with the presence of that platonic solid, solidly grounded in your own light architecture. And now we're going to leave that one in place and we're going to layer. Just intend that the cube remains. And now we're going to build the octahedron, which is the 2 4-sided pyramids base to base. So go ahead and create the bottom pyramid with the point facing down, and that same point will meet the point of the cube at the bottom of your sphere. And the top pointing up pyramid with the point matching the cube at the top of your sphere, and they merge into one shape, which is the octahedron. And remain floating in your space, that sacred solitude of the ocean that is your microcosm in the macrocosm. And now we will add the 3rd layer. We're going to build the star tetrahedron, and we're going to do it with 1 tetrahedron at a time. So go ahead and build the downward facing tetrahedron. Remember, there's 4 sides only it would look more like a three-sided pyramid. The fourth side is the base. And if you're able to imagine those three corners of the base connecting out to the sphere in about the middle and touching in three places, or if it's easier just to imagine it as a two-dimensional shape, as a triangle, that's fine too. And then you have 2 points on the base touching the sides of your bubble, and then the point down at the bottom, again, overlapping with the cube and the octahedron. And now we will create the upward facing tetrahedron. Again, the base has 3 points that are going to be touching the sides of the sphere. And the point at the top, touching the top of the bubble. And they are overlapping to create the star tetrahedron. Very important geometry. And notice how all 3 of these shapes nest one within the other as they form within the outline of your sphere. All of the platonic solids fit perfectly within one another. We call them nested solids. And now simply intending that all 3 of these architectural templates, these platonic solids, are now present in your bubble. Give the command to activate and spin all 3 in their proper rotation, and just allow your own divine intelligence to manage that, as it's a little complex to try to visualize and worry about that. Simply give the intentional command that all 3 platonic solid layers are activated into spin at the appropriate rotation and speed. And know that it is done. And you can sit for a moment and enjoy the whirl of your own Merkaba, your own chariot. And that layer of your platonic solid architecture, as we mentioned, is what you use to travel interdimensionally. Merkaba. Beautiful. Now we're going to dissolve that visualization, clear your bubble, clear your palette, clear your screen or your canvas. When you're working on the ocean, the imprint of the antimatter that you're collecting within your ocean, it's like your canvas as an artist that you're using to visualize and manifest. So let's clear that away, and we'll move on to our next practice, which is breathing in the ocean. And we're going to do it to an 8 count, and we're going to add the fire letters. And then at the end, we're going to add one more step, the final step to that practice. So let's begin by focusing in your sacred heart, your upper heart space. And I want you to visualize the fire letters streaming across your sacred heart as a visualization in your mind's eye. I am that I am. And you can visualize that those fire letters are active as flames. So you can see the flames moving and burning across your sacred heart. And intend to hold that fire letter visualization. And now we're going to begin to the count of 8, the 4-part breath, remembering that we will be clearing the 4 bodies with each step of the 4-part breath. So I will count, and you can intend the clearing of each of the 4 successive energy bodies as I count, and we breathe together. Beginning with the in-breath on a count of 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the out breath, exhaling slowly, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and holding 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now at the end and the last step, we're going to add the final alchemy for this practice. And here we're going to reverse the fire letters. And when you reverse I am that I am, it says Ma I Tat Ma, which Ma, of course, is the mother. So I am that I am is the father. Ma I Tat Ma is I am the mother. So now visualize in the fire letters, and you can do the breath once more with the mother frequency in your sacred heart to a count of 8, and you will intend the cleansing of the 4 bodies. And I'll count for you. Taking an in breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is the complete practice with all 4 parts. So you can do rounds holding the father pillar of I am that I am, and then you can switch. So you can alternate you can do rounds, alternating one round with the father configuration of I am that I am, and then you can reverse it to Ma I Tat Ma and do another round, and you can alternate back and forth. And in this way, you are balancing your inner polarities of the masculine and the feminine as you invoke the name, the tetragrammation of your own inner divinity. So that is the complete breathing the fire breath practice. Now we're going to do a little practice with the divine quintessence, which the divine quintessence is the 5 of the 5 elementals. It's represented geometrically by the pentagram, the 5-pointed star, which is also the geometry of Venus. If you look at the trajectory of the planet Venus, which I'll put a picture of this, it creates a 5-petaled rose, actually, but that represents the divine quintessence. So the divine feminine and the elemental kingdoms are very closely linked together because Mater, mother, is the realm of creation, and the elementals are the primordial creational essences that we create from. Everything begins there. So let's drop into a nice quiet meditation, clearing our field into stillness. Calling in the Holy Spirit. Works seamlessly as the divine masculine balance with the divine quintessence. And now calling in the element of love and even tracing that 5-pointed pentagram within our sacred heart. Imagine, and if you need to, you can have a look at the pentagram. If you need some visual assistance, I'll also put that image in the module. And so imagining that, calling upon the element of love, which is the aether or ether, which is the substance in your bubble. And this is a form of symbol magic to draw that energy closer and in more power into our magic practice. And remember, the element of love as the fifth element naturally balances and harmonizes the other four. And so when we invoke the Holy Spirit as the masculine, feminine in perfect balance, along with the divine quintessence and the element of love, every manifestation will be in alignment with divine will and will come through in the most balanced manner possible. So that is our practice of foundation on our altar, which is the practice space that we've created inside of our bubble. And now, overlaying on top of those beautiful elements, we're going to create the star tetrahedron in the Sacred Heart, golden in color. And this is the Christed matrix. And so imagine that beautiful gold star tetrahedron in your Sacred Heart as you activate and amplify the Christed matrix within your own energy architecture. Another layer of powerful and profound alignment for your magical creations. Now we're going to clear our space and we're going to work on our axiotonal and nodal network and make sure that we've activated and cleared those energy lines, that web of energy within our body so that it connects out from the physical body, out through those nodal points, through the chakras, and out into the energy bodies successively, into and beyond those bodies and out into the etheric web of life that we are connected to at all times. And we want to make certain that we have two-way communication, as they are just like telephone wires or computer wires carrying communication, although they're made of subtle energy. And so the ancient traditions of Chinese medicine and the yogis in the Hindu tradition were well aware of this axiotonal network, and their practices of Qigong, Tai Chi, and yoga were intended to purify, which we have talked about in the beginning, activate and open, and radiate this axiotonal network. So this was actually the deeper purpose of all of these beautiful ancient practices. So if you feel inclined or you already know any of those arts, you can take those to a deeper level and understand that as you move energy with all three of those, that's what you're enhancing as you're drawing that pranic or chi or ki life force through that entire network to make sure that we're always circulating the energy. As when the energy gets stagnant in any of those layers, when it gets densified, when it's clogged, that's when our light architecture can no longer function properly. That's when our manifestations come out incorrectly and imbalanced. And that's when we develop in our physical body disease, because any sort of problem that we have in our physical body is a clog of energy. And so that's why the practice of acupuncture or acupressure was about clearing the energy channel so that the life force in the area that was affected would begin to flow again. So let's begin to do an axiotonal practice. And we're going to begin on the left side of the body, the feminine channels, the yin channels. And we're going to set the intention to run the channels on the left side of the body. Again, not needing to know them specifically because it's quite a complex network. Just make your intention that you're going to activate, clear all the left channels, axiotonal channels moving into the chakras in the etheric body and extending on the left side of the etheric body as well. feeling that energy flow as a golden liquid light as it moves through each of these channels. Just imagine the left side of the physical body and the etheric body on the next layer, activating and radiating and clearing as there's this beautiful circulation of golden light radiating within and without. And now we'll switch and we will make the intention to activate and clear all the right channel on the masculine yang side of our polarity, and using the same golden light to clear all of the main lines on the right side of the body, and also through the chakras and out into the etheric body on the right side of your body. The body double. And when we do have a manifestation of some sort of dis-ease or imbalance in our physical body, the place that that will appear first is in the etheric body. And you'll see some sort of pitting or something begin to manifest in the etheric body first. And that's an indication that something's about to manifest in the physical body as an imbalance. So it's good to realize that things tend to happen from the outside in. We have a tendency to think we're radiating from the inside out, which we are. There is light coming from inside out, but most of the input of what's happening in our physical body is coming from the outer bodies, and the information in our Akashic record, the blockages in the emotional, mental, astral, and etheric. And then that information comes through that nodal system to give instructions to the physical body elemental for what to manifest. So an important consideration if you're needing to heal anything in your physical body is you want to work out in the outer bodies and work your way in addition to making sure that you're radiating the area of whatever's affected deeply with energy to reactivate the biological cellular network and to remove any clogs in the energy in that space. And now we're going to radiate the middle channels. And in this case, let's imagine those channels running from the root as the Kundalini, 3 core channels, and rising up and then back down. Feeling that beautiful golden liquid light, cleansing, clearing, and activating those core channels. And finally, I want you to visualize the network you've just created in its entirety. Your whole physical body's activated, and now the entire etheric body was activated with the left and the right completion. And just imagine all of those lines now extending out into your outer bodies, into the emotional, astral, mental, extending that network out, and now out to the edges of your own bubble and beyond as you see them extend into infinity, into the infinite cosmic ocean, reconnecting you in all directions back into the unified field. And for our final practice today, we're going to revisit charge that we just began in our last unit, still at the very beginning stages of this concept of charging the vehicle. And so let's clear our palette, clear our altar, clear our creational canvas, and we're going to begin a new practice of our charged particles. Again, remember, they're small little particles that look like little suns, little flaming suns, charged photons of light. And I want you to imagine a triangulation of 3 forming a triangle facing upwards in front of you in your bubble, and see the flames flickering and moving. Charged particles, charged energies. And remember the concept of the rheostat, which is like a dimmer switch. And so visualize them and then slowly turn the dimmer switch, the rheostat, up, and see how they begin to enhance with even more radiance, more charge, more energy. The three dancing particles, photons of light, little suns, dancing in front of you. And now use the rheostat and dim them down and see how the energy decreases and the radiance decreases. Now clear that canvas away. Now clear that triangulation away. We're going to create another one with the downward facing triangle. 3 points, 3 photonic charge particles. See them dancing out in front of you in your bubble space. See the flames, flickering plasma flame light as they dance. And now using that rheostat, dial up the charge and the energetic radiance as you see them emit more light, more charge. And now use the dimmer to lower the radiance and the charge and turn it down. Turn down the intensity of the charge. Now you have a second triangle on top. Put both of them to make the star tetrahedron overlapping. So now you have 6 points in 2 triangulations overlapping as the star tetrahedron. And imagining the 6 points of photonic charge light glowing and dancing as flames, charged particles in your bubble. And now we're going to use that dimmer switch and turn up the radiance, turn up the charge, turn up the intensity, amplify the energy. See the radiance increase in the 6 points of light. Holding the visualization. And now use that dimmer switch and turn the amplification down, turning the light switch down to dim, and watch as those particles lower their radiance, lower their charge, and de-amplify. Perfect. Those are the core practices that I wanted to review with you today. So those are practices to continue to build upon as we progress. And we're going to move into really mastering that 5th dimensional space called the void space. And so I'm going to ask you to revisit an earlier audio, which I will attach, of the 5th dimensional experience so that you can see the difference in your understanding of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And you can go back and listen to 3 and 4 if that's helpful as well. And now that you've progressed through this process and you've learned everything that you have so far, I think that you'll have a deeper understanding of the very distinct differences in a vibrational frequency of 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And by now, I'm hoping if you've done your practices consistently, that coming into this still point of the ocean, this void, empty space of silence and no thought is becoming much more comfortable and normal for you, and you're not struggling as much with thoughts wiggling around or emotions showing up. So we're going to really deepen into holding that fifth dimensional still point void space. And the practices for this unit are going to focus on that. So please remember, you can reach out to me at any time via email if you have any questions about any of the practices or to share any of your experiences. I'm happy to hear what's happening for you and how things are going. And let's keep going in our Light Magic Masterclass. Have a great day.